Welcome to the July the 30th, 2002 pre-taping of It Happened in Grand Prairie, as we bring you the history of our city and some of the wonderful people that have made history and are continuing to make history even until this day. And we are very pleased today. We are honored to have a couple here on the dais that are very important to Grand Prairie, and certainly we would want to project them in the very greatest way. And we're just so pleased to have Loretta Hale Cook and also Alan Cook on the set with us today. Loretta.
It's good to be here.
Alan, glad to have you two rascals with us today. It's just wonderful. And you came to us on pretty short notice, and so for that reason we really do appreciate your being here to help us document the wonderful history of the two of you and of your experiences in Grand Prairie. And you're our history tape number 462, and so we're real excited about that. And Loretta, I know sometimes women take advantage of the opportunity when there are two of us here, but we're going to let Alan talk first today. Is that okay? Are you going to give your permission for that? Oh, that is really great. Alan, we'd like for you to look out into your camera and tell us really about the real Alan Cook. Tell us a little bit, name your parents and your brothers and sisters, and a little bit something about the early beginnings of Alan.
Okay. Well, I was born out of Winnsboro to Jim and Myra Cook back in 1920. And I went as a farm boy, went up to high school.
Would you name your parents?
Yes, I did. Jim and Myra.
Jim and Myra,
Cook.
and Myra's last name?
Myra Faye Say Cook.
Cook. Okay, that made it complete. Okay, that's great. And he was a farmer?
Yes, and a carpenter.
And a carpenter, and out in the Winnsboro area?
Right.
Okay.
She was a housekeeper.
Okay.
She had her hands full with 8 children. About
all right. And
5 of them.
And the 8 children, which number are you?
I'm number 3.
You're number 3. Do you have any brothers or sisters that you want to put in this documentary?
Well, older 2's already passed on, and I was the 3rd one. I told everybody, well, I'm next in line.
Yeah, that's it.
But the Lord reached down and got the young one, so there's 5 of us left.
There's 5 of you left. Would you like to name the other 4?
There's Marie and Juanice and Claude, Glenn. That's it.
That's it, and you're it.
Yeah.
Okay, that is wonderful. Yeah. And from Winnsboro, did you go to school in Winnsboro?
Yes, high school. Went to Clearwater to grade school in Winnsboro.
Let's get that Clearwater, because that's important.
Clearwater, Water.
And was that a 7th grade school?
That's a little 3-room that's been mentioned occasionally, a little 3-room schoolhouse.
All righty, and were there, how many grades there, 7?
There was 8.
8 grades?
I believe there was 8, and then they got to be the 9th to go on to Winnsboro.
Go on to Winnsboro.
We went on to Winnsboro and graduated in 1 year. Took a entrance exam.
Yes.
And graduated in 1 year.
That is great. Now, at Clearwater, did you have any favorite teachers or a mentor, somebody that was real important to you when you were growing up?
Yeah, Ms. Exa Bass was one, and can't think of the other one now.
Who was your principal?
But Louis Burton.
Mr. Burton was the principal. Was he a pretty good guy?
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's a pretty good fellow, a good fellow. And he also taught us basketball,
all right,
softball. Then came along Herman Brown and took over the basketball. Yeah. And we had quite some
and then
meets
on to Winnsboro.
Winnsboro.
In high school there, when you stayed that 1 year to do all this good stuff, did you make any friends there?
Yes, we made a lot of friends. Milton Road from over at Good Hope area, and different ones. We played basketball, won the district.
Oh, great.
Won district.
What position did you play on the basketball team?
I was a center.
A center, oh.
I was one of the tall ones then.
Yes, that was great.
I was just 6'1", but then that was tall.
That was tall for that group.
So we won the division, the what did I say?
District?
District. District, and went on to regional.
Oh, that was great.
Graduated in 39.
1939 was the magic year. Okay, we're going to get back with you in a little bit from 1939 on, but we got to let Loretta catch up just a little bit here. Miss Loretta, tell us about your early family, please.
Well, my parents were Orban and Gussie Hale.
And what was Gussie's maiden name?
Taylor.
Gussie Taylor. Okay, while you're doing that, you want to pick up their picture and let's see if we can get that right under your chin. And, oh, look, that looks good. Isn't that, now wait just a minute. That's perfect.
That's better.
That's perfect. Isn't that better? Oh, and see, then Lewis doesn't even have to rush in here to do that. But that's Miss Gussie right there also. And
My
Orban?
my father lived to be 83 and my mother lived to be 97.
Oh, that is great. All right, now you're going to have to, let's lay that aside, but now let's talk about your brothers and sisters. And
There were 11 of us children. There was one little boy that died when he was 9 days old, but the other 10 of us we've been a very close family.
Okay.
And there's 9 of us still living.
All right, you want to name those?
I was number 2.
You were number 2. Okay.
My older brother is J.C. Hale.
All right.
He lives here in Grand Prairie. And Jimmy Hale.
Yes.
And
Married to Norma.
Married to Norma.
Okay.
Married to Norma Robertson. And Mildred Hastings.
Okay.
They all live here in Grand Prairie.
Okay.
Then there's twins. It's Reba and Retha.
All right.
And brother M.D. He's the one that passed away. And Bobby
Okay.
lives in Bedford. Nadine lives in Mesquite. Have I left anybody out?
That sounds like a goodly bunch. That's
7 girls and 3 boys.
All right. Are any of those that you've mentioned real special that, like these 3 live in Grand Prairie, Texas, but do you all get together as a family unit?
We all get together 2 or 3 times a year. We'll meet at some cafeteria or somewhere. And then on Christmas, we have a family reunion and all the generations come that can get there.
We're not going to ask you when you were born, but where were you born?
I was born in Silo, Oklahoma. That's Bryan County, about 8 miles out of Durant.
And you got to Texas as quick as you could, I guess.
Well, not really.
All right, growing up in Oklahoma, did you start to school in Oklahoma?
I started this school at a little place called New Allison. It's not even on the map any longer.
New Allison, Oklahoma. All right.
That's just out of Durant, and it was a little 2-room school.
Okay, and
No, I'm sorry, it was 1-room school.
1-room school. What did your father do for a living?
He was a farmer, and then in later years he was a rancher, and he did a little bit of real estate.
All right, did you ever have to work on the farm?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, you did? Tell us what you did. That's exciting to the boys and girls that watch our show.
I had to hoe in the springtime, and back in those days, in rural communities, we had a broken school term.
Oh, broken school term, where they let you out for...
We'd finish the school year in the spring,
Okay,
and then in the dead of summer,
yeah,
we'd have about 6 weeks of school
okay.
and start up again after the harvest was finished.
After harvest, okay. All right, and you helped on all of those things. What was the first school that you went to, New Allison?
Yes.
And then after New Allison, were there any teachers or mentors?
There was one teacher.
One teacher, let's name them.
Her name was, we called her Miss Lois, and I can't remember what her last name was.
But Miss Lois was wonderful,
Miss
wasn't
Lois was a good teacher.
she? Yes, And after New Allison, where'd you go?
We moved to Silo.
Okay, Silo, Oklahoma, okay. And you go to school in Silo?
Yes, I graduated from the 8th grade in Silo.
8th grade, and how many grades were there at the school? 1 through the 8?
It was 1 through 8.
And you graduated?
See, back then we had 12 grades
Yes.
in Oklahoma, where you only had
Had
11 years.
here. Okay. Okay, and so you graduated from the 8th grade. And at Silo, did you have any special teachers, friends, subjects that were your favorite?
Yes, there was a man teacher, and his name was Dental Parrish.
All right.
And he was quite a musician, and so was his wife, although she didn't teach. But they'd have musicals, and that was part of the community get-together.
Oh, and you loved that.
Yes.
Oh, yes,
We had a
that's
good time.
wonderful. And after Silo, where'd you go?
I went to school at Meade.
Meade?
That's 8 miles west of Durant.
Okay, and at Meade, how about teachers and friends and favorite subjects? And
We had a wonderful principal. His name was Cecil Trammell, and we also had an English teacher. Her name was Lillian Clayton, and
Okay.
she had taught in the college there in Durant until
Okay.
they had decided she was too old.
okay, so she
And-
came out into the community.
And so she came out to Meade and taught. She was English and speech and literature.
Okay. Did that give you sort of a love for literature and poetry?
Well,
and
sort of, but I
things?
was pretty shy.
You were pretty shy.
I was pretty
You
shy.
didn't want to get up before
I
the
didn't
class
want
and
to.
read anything? No.
No.
Okay. And you graduated then from Meade High School? Okay. And then what happened to Loretta?
Well, after about a year,
Yes.
I got married.
You married? And then we have 2 daughters.
Yes.
All right. You want to show those daughters? Now, we know that Alan is not the father
I married Buell Mayo,
of Buell Mayo. Okay.
and he was a school teacher.
Okay.
Here are my daughters.
Well, now let's hold those up under your chin here to be sure we get both of those beautiful daughters.
This is the older one.
Okay, I think Louis is going to want to get a picture of those 2 beautiful girls. Okay.
This is Joyce, and this is Donna.
Donna and Joyce, and Donna is the blonde, and Joyce is the brunette. And did either one of those go to Grand Prairie schools?
Yes. They started to school at Crockett.
It's Crockett Elementary.
Yes.
Okay.
And this one graduated from Sunset High.
From Sunset High.
And this one graduated from Grand Prairie High. She was homecoming queen the year she graduated.
Okay, beautiful young ladies. Aren't you proud of both of them? And where are they now?
This one is in East Texas.
All
They
right.
live on a lake down
Okay.
there. And this one is in Georgia.
In Georgia. And okay, and give us their married names if they're married.
This one is Williams, and this one is Stevens.
And Stevens. And do they have children?
Yes, they each had 3 children.
Okay, each have 3 children. And you
that
want to
makes-
name your
That
grandchildren?
makes me 6 grandchildren and 13 great-grandchildren.
Okay, I'll let you name the grandchildren, but I'm not going to ask you to name the greats because I'd be in bad trouble, wouldn't I?
Okay, this one has 1 boy and 2 girls.
All right.
And the boy's name is Shannon, and he's never liked that a great deal.
Yes, but that's all right.
His name's Shannon. He lives in Georgetown.
Okay.
The second girl lives in Georgia, and her name is Sharman.
All right.
And the younger one lives in Carrollton, and her name is Charla.
And that's kind of close by, isn't it?
That's close
Yeah.
by, but it's
Okay.
clear across Dallas, and we old folks don't hit that traffic.
We don't hit
have
that
to.
traffic very much, do we? And you just tell Shannon that it's all right for a boy to be named Shannon because one of the most masculine men at North American Aviation was Shannon Bennett, and he was a foreman down in Department 19, and I bet Alan's probably heard of him because he walked like a gorilla. And just tell Shannon it's all right, and it's very
It doesn't
masculine.
bother him now.
Good. All right,
This
beautiful
one
young
has
lady.
1 boy and 2 girls.
All right.
The older one is Tracy,
All
the
right.
girl.
Uh-huh.
Then there's Darren,
Uh-huh.
and the younger one's Lana.
Atlanta. Okay.
And one of them lives in Tennessee, one in Georgia, and one in Phoenix, Arizona.
You just got them scattered everywhere.
scattered
Loretta.
everywhere.
Oh dear, oh dear. Okay, we're going to get back with you a little bit later on, but I got to get back over here to Alan and talk about him. After you left school, Alan, I've got to get you out of Winsboro and Clearwater, and you went into the service.
Right.
I need to know where you went into the service.
Went in,
What part of the service?
went in at Winsboro National Guard, and then they mobilized.
Okay.
Trained with the 36th Division, Camp Boy,
36th at Camp Bowie.
Texas.
Okay.
Then I wound up later, they copied Hitler's blitzkrieg and knocked off a regiment.
All right.
And we was the 144th, the last
You
number.
was 144th.
So we caught up with the 41st Infantry Division in New Guinea.
In New Guinea.
New Guinea.
All right. Where you did your training?
So I trained with the 36th, and then I
Okay.
fought with the 41st.
With the
41st
41st
in New
Infantry
Guinea
in New Guinea.
and Philippines.
Okay, and show me your boots. tell me the story of those boots. We got to look at those. Now, those are real combat boots.
They're real combat boots.
Yeah.
This is the hole right here.
All right, tell us where you
Later.
were wounded in the ankle, I believe.
Yeah, in the ankle here and here. I pulled this one out myself, and I didn't think I'd have to come out. And here they sewed it. And it's a miracle that I got these boots later.
How did you get the boots, for Pete's sake?
I got back in the hospital and schoolhouse first, and then later on Leyte Island, the general hospital.
Yeah.
And these boots, they brought them to me.
They brought them
They brought
to
them
you.
to me. I was so surprised. I really was.
That's
really
wonderful.
was.
And you know what? You were lucky that just hit you in the ankle.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
This one I was so lucky here that it didn't
Penetrate.
get the heel string.
Yes.
I pulled it out and it penetrated deep enough, but it didn't hit my heel string. So I was fortunate in a lot of ways.
And you stayed in New Guinea till when?
Till 45, till March. We were on our way to Luzon, Manila, and the other units were doing so well, they radioed orders for us to turn to Mindoro, halfway up and down the Philippines.
Yes,
Mindoro. And some of MacArthur's strategy, we went down then, and I was in the first wave on Mindanao Island.
Oh.
Close to Zamboanga, where the monkeys have no tail.
Yes, that's it. That's it. Heard of that.
We took wolf air strip out in the first wave there, and
Yes.
everybody froze on the beach. And my scouts looked at me, hundreds on the beach, says, "Who's going with me?" I said, "Let's go." And there's a pillbox up there.
Yes.
And the Japs had learned to pull back from the Air Force and then the Navy, and then the deals that we came in on,
Yeah.
Buffalo. They learned to pull back. I threw a grenade over in the pillbox and there wasn't anything there. And then we fought them for several days after that, about the second day,
Yes.
on up into the hills. And then through another maneuver, there was a missionary that my 41st Infantry Division liberated over after I got hit. What was his name? Anyway, he spoke in our church, Calvary Baptist, about 20 years later. And
How wonderful.
He mentioned I owe my life probably to the 41st Infantry
Yes,
Division.
uh-huh.
I said, hey,
Hey, that was me. That
so
was me.
after the service, we talked, and I said,
Uh-huh.
I was in that division, but I was already got hit, and they liberated him after that. It was something else.
Wasn't that was almost a miracle, sending
Yeah.
him to Calvary
Yes,
to find you there.
It really was.
And y'all
He
had been
spoke
that
in our
close.
church About
Yes.
20 years later.
Okay, and when did you get out of the service?
In 1945.
At the end of the war.
December the 10th.
Okay.
Just before it ended. Just before it ended.
Okay, and where'd you go then?
Oh, I came to Grand Prairie, moved on up to Grand Prairie. And
What brought you to Grand
put
Prairie?
in.
Here
Just
you-
find work. Williamsboro didn't have too much work
All
then.
right, okay.
Grand Prairie was expanding, and,
And you came
I've
to
loved it ever since.
And you came to North American?
No, I never did work down there. She did, but I didn't.
right.
I worked for this distributing company a while, wholesale, that
All right.
distributed to the cafes, as cafeteria on South Center. And then I took the exam for postal, and then after I passed that, I got into the postal.
Postal,
Yeah.
yes. And you've been to the post office for how long?
About 33 years.
About 33 years.
If I'd have known what I did now, I might have gotten real estate a little earlier, but I like it too.
Yeah.
I like the postal.
All
I
right.
liked it. And got in real estate and did a little little real estate.
Okay.
And
We're going to let you rest a minute, and we're going to get Loretta
I've
up.
about run out of steam.
Yeah, we've
now.
got.
Just
I've got her down where she married Mr. Mayo, and they've had 2 babies, and that's all gone by the wayside. What happened after Mayo?
Well,
we had dinner together with them before in the homes a few
Good.
times. Believe it or not.
he was teaching school in Oklahoma,
All right.
and that was during the Depression.
Yes.
And the state of Oklahoma was so broke that he'd get his paycheck, and there was not enough money in the state treasury to cash it. We'd have to buy groceries on credit.
Yes.
And so he became pretty disillusioned with that.
Yeah.
So during the summer break, we came to Grand Prairie, and well, they sent him to Stillwater. They wanted him to teach agriculture in a big consolidated school.
Yes.
Where he'd been teaching. And he said, I'm not qualified for agriculture. And they said, well, go to school this summer. So he went up there, and they were offering aircraft courses.
Yes.
So along with his agriculture course, he took an aircraft course. And when they finished the class, the whole group came down to North America and made application. And they hired 2 of them that day, and he was one of them.
He was one.
So we went back out to Oklahoma, and he resigned his school, and we moved to Grand Prairie in the summer of 1945.
That's good.
And he went to work at North American, and I had our second child.
All right.
We couldn't find a place to live. There was
It was tough,
all these
wasn't it?
all these people coming into North American and no place to live. So we stayed in the old Highway Hotel down on Main Street. Do you remember that?
Yes.
A bug place.
That was a buggy place, but it was a place to be.
It was a place to sleep.
Uh-huh.
And we stayed there a few days until they finished up a little house in Avion Village. And our first home in Grand Prairie was 114 Blériot, Avion Village.
Avion Village, yes. It has a state marker.
And our telephone number was 455J.
455.
Not a 10-digit number like we have now.
455J. Okay.
And then about a year and a half later, he began to have some real health problems. And I went to work at North American on the night shift.
In what department?
I was in parts control.
Parts control.
I was down on final assembly line where they swung the big motors over
Yes.
for the B-24s.
For the B-24s, uh-huh. That was in the B plant.
That was in the B plant.
Uh-huh.
And my husband worked in the A plant. He was a quality control engineer.
Okay.
That's where they made the AT-6 trainer
Yes.
and the P-51 fighter.
Yes. Been there,
And-
done that.
Yeah. So we worked there until the place shut down.
Uh-huh.
And we had Tiny Blackburn build us a home,
Yes.
and we lived there until he passed away in 1970.
1970 deceased.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the kids went on to Grand Prairie High School and did all of these other good things, right? Okay. How did you meet this dude?
In church.
In church.
Sure.
We'd known each
I
other
need to tell
for
one
years.
thing. He was
Oh.
great. Bill was quite a fellow, but he learned. I was AD initial, and he was BC, and I was a little taller.
AD and BC.
He'd come around and say, "Hello, AD," and I'd say, "Hello, BC," and he said, "We have the whole ages in there,
Yeah,
AD
right.
and BC."
All the way through. That was great. And you met him at Calvary
Yeah.
Baptist. Okay.
Had no idea at the time that we'd ever end up together.
Yes. But y'all have had a wonderful life together.
First-
We bought Muton coats for my daughters from hers, a year or two older than my daughters.
Okay. You want to talk about your daughters? We don't have them in the dossier. Give us their names.
Well, Kay Cheryl is she's in Kingman, Arizona,
All right.
in communications, telecommunications, and the other one's over here in Cedar Hill.
And her name?
Grace May.
Okay. That's great. So between that, y'all have a real wonderful family. Do y'all get them together? You got 4 girls?
Yeah, we have 4 girls,
four
but
Two
we
of them.
seldom get them all together.
Yes.
The one in Kingman they just stay so busy, and
Yes.
maybe they'll make a visit in the summertime for a couple of days, but that's about all we see them.
All right, now tell me about your other outreach programs. I know you write poetry and you've done poetry. We have only about 3 minutes left on those show. You better hold up your book, Loretta.
Well, after I retired, that was about the time computers were really coming into their own.
Yeah.
And I didn't know computers. So after I retired, I took a computer course over at Mountain View College.
Yes.
Bought me a computer, and this was my learning project.
Oh, favorite poems and so forth. And some of your poetry's in that,
Well,
isn't it?
I think I have 3 in here.
Uh-huh.
But most of it's just a collection.
Of good poetry.
And
Tell me what else you've done.
And then at one of our Christmas parties, my family said, we have such good food here, we should have a family cookbook. And I said,
Okay.
send it to me, I'll put it together.
Let's do it. And so
this
now,
is our family cookbook.
that's the Hale family cookbook. And that includes Jimmy Hale and all of the other Hale's
Yeah.
family. Oh, that
All
is,
the used to be Hales.
yes. And what other outreach do you all do?
I helped organize senior softball here in 1979.
Yes.
And there's over 50 teams now.
All right, and you played ball this morning.
I played ball this morning
Where'd you play ball this morning,
over
Allie?
at Mike Lewis
Mike Lewis
Park.
Park.
We played the Fort Worth Jaguars.
How'd you do?
Went 2 extra innings, and then they eked us out by 1 run. 13-14.
Wasn't it pretty hot out there this morning?
Not too much today. This was
He is
this
on
was
television
better.
telling you how you got beat.
But
He's also in
anyway.
the Golden Age
Sunshine Band.
Sunshine Band.
Sunshine Band.
We play all over. Our biggest gig. She gets on to me for calling it a gig.
That's
So
a gig.
over at Las Colinas for the
United Way.
The United Way.
Oh, how great.
It was about 3,000 people come by, and there's 3 stages, and we was in the middle. We
Oh.
cut loose with "Hey, Good Looking," some of those.
Oh, some of the good songs.
So anyway, we had a good time. That was one of our largest audience.
All right, Loretta, you're going to have to say something real big to come up with that.
I can't
Do you
compete with that.
you remember the post-school PTA?
Yes.
Yes, you ought to tell
have
that.
Have been a member of the Golden Agers and the AARP.
AARP, yes.
And I love to paint. And I love music
Yes. And church?
and church.
Yes.
And I said, after I did this, at 80 years of age, I said, who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks?
Because you can bring that computer right on downtown, can't you? Yes, and I hit a button on my computer and everything disappeared. My grandson came in and hit one other button and brought it all back.
Right.
And it sure is great to have grandkids that know more about computers
They
than you
absolutely do.
I taught
do. You have 1 minute.
Oh, yet?
Yeah.
I taught Sunday school for 40 years, running in Calvary.
All
5th graders and then 8th graders, and I'm still active in the choir.
Good. I'm proud of both of y'all. I thank y'all so much for being here today. And we just run out of time. We could have gone an hour and a half, couldn't we?
This is the greatest lady that's going in the city council, if I may get that in.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And this is Ruthie Jackson reminding you that history is as we live and do. And I really want to thank y'all for being here today.
Thank you for having us,
Y'all have
Ruthie.
been precious. Thank you
you.
for sharing with us.
Thank you for having us.
You bet. Now look, they've got the family on. And they're going to run that.